How's it? Today is Saturday, February 17th. Sumo deadlifts with some bench pressing. Today was unexpectedly very difficult. My deadlifts today were up to 160 for 5.5s, and I thought they were going to go pretty smoothly. They did not. Towards the end of each set, I was feeling like, oh snap, my technique is falling apart very quickly. And it got worse as the sets went on. So it was just hard. I didn't have a lot of sleep last night either. My video, if you see it, I figured it out, but video from Friday wasn't uploading. I tried like 11 times. I was up until like 4:30 trying to figure it out. I looked up online about like a lot of the issues that might have been happening, but I just couldn't figure it out. So I might end up having to edit it on my computer or something else. I usually edit on my iPad because it's a lot more convenient. I'm pretty quick with it. My fingers, I mean, there's a lot of different inputs you can have with your hands, whereas on a computer, you have the one point of interaction, which is your mouse, and then, I mean, the keyboard, of course, but with my fingers, I can drag things here and there, move it much quicker than with the mouse, so that's why I like using my iPad. But yeah, I was super frustrated. I tried my best to figure it out while I was at the gym today too. I ended up uninstalling the app and then reinstalling it, and then it deleted everything. So if things start to look weird from now on, it's because all of my presets and my templates are all gone. It's not the end of the world. I'm still the same lifter I was on Wednesday, or I guess Friday. Yeah. But yeah, kind of going back to the training session today. Deadlifts up to 160. I think that yesterday at work, my hips were giving me some like tightness towards the end of the night, and it felt like it didn't go away overnight. So like I typically stretch before I go to sleep. I definitely stretched last night before I went to sleep. I also soaked in the bathtub to kind of warm up my muscles before I stretched. That usually helps a good amount, but I don't know. My upper back is still feeling a little bit of that almost pain, like muscle fatigue that it was feeling at the end of work last night. I probably talked about it yesterday. I'm not super sure, but here's my first set of my sumo deadlifts here. 160. I did my best to do touch and goes because I feel like whenever I reset, my positioning is not the same as it is on that first rep, and I'm no longer as tight. So then, like, trying to work through it and pick it up to fix it doesn't feel as consistent as it does if I just do the touch and go. As far as it goes, the deadlift itself, that hip issue was really still present. I don't feel like I could get as close to the bar as I normally would, but still have my back be extended. I couldn't quite wedge myself in the way that I normally want to. I don't know if I actually can do it, but it doesn't usually feel as tight. It doesn't usually feel as much pressure in my hip area. For what it's worth, the hip pain that I'm experiencing, or hip discomfort that I'm experiencing today, was different from what it was last week. I think it was last week. It might have been 2 weeks ago, but I ended up having to limp in between sets, at least the first couple sets, because I just felt like almost like a clicking in the hip, and then it kind of didn't go away. But yeah, not much else to say about these deadlifts. They are hard. I think that I might need to change my rep scheme next week, or I'll probably sleep better. I need to sleep better next week. There are a lot of things I need to do differently, but I don't know. All in all, I'm pretty thankful that I'm still being able to deadlift this way. After that, I moved into my bench press. which is probably the more exciting thing for today. I didn't have a lot of time because, again, I woke up super late, and it's because I slept super late. I slept super late. But the bench press was the first day today where it didn't feel like my shoulder was gonna explode. It didn't feel like I was, it didn't feel like I was nursing a shoulder injury. It felt more like I was just benching, which is such a simple desire and such a simple thought to have, but it was very true. And I'm super happy about that. I talked about it yesterday about my shoulders feeling a lot better for the jerks. Typically, if I can clean it, I can jerk it. But lately, it's been, if I'm cleaning something, then when I think about the jerk, I'm thinking about, uh-oh, like this is gonna hurt. So I wasn't thinking about that at all yesterday, and so it kind of carried over to today. On the set of 190 that I did, which is 5 pounds heavier than what it was last week, I I know I was a little bit slow, a little bit apprehensive about it, making sure that I didn't experience any pain. That's the first set. That's the only one I videoed. But all the other ones after that, I went through them very quickly. I was essentially bouncing the weight off of my chest. And they were like true touch and go bench presses. And that's not something I can normally do because if the conditions are absolutely perfect, then yes, my shoulder has no pain. But once you add some amount of out of position with speed, then it's very hard to predict what's going to happen. And so I was very happy with the way that I was able to push through everything. None of the shoulders or none of the sets hurt my shoulder. Even towards the end, usually I feel like at the end of longer sets, longer rep ranges, that's when my shoulder starts to hurt a little bit. So yeah, finished off today with my dumbbell overhead walks. These are perhaps one of the things that is helping me a lot. This and the upper back T-spine mobility stuff. But I'm happy that I'm increasing on this as well. I did 60 earlier this week. We're doing 65 today. So yeah, pretty good overall. I'm I'm pretty happy with how my training was. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Shoots.